Hey gang, Professor Feeser here, and in today's video, we're going to talk about the import keyword or import statement in Python. The job of import is to take code from the outside and drag it into our script. If you needed a solid analogy, let's go ahead and imagine you have a lawn care business, and typically you put into your trailer before you go to a customer site your string trimmer, your leaf blower, your push mower, and your riding mower, along with cans of gas and extra string. Except the night before you go to a particular customer's house, they call you and say, hey, we need the gardens tilled, and we actually need an edge put on the gardens as well. You say, you know what? I have the tiller and I have the edger at the warehouse. I'll put them in the trailer before I come to your spot. When you add that additional equipment, you are importing effectively code. It's like a Python import. The reason you don't take it to the job site every time is maybe you only need it once a month. I mean, ultimately, when you need it, it's super useful. But because it's not that often you reach for it, it's okay to have to do a little extra work to have those tools available. Python's the same way. We're trying to ultimately write efficient code. We don't want a ton of code in our script if we're never going to use it. So we're going to look at a library called random. It allows us to make, say, random selections from lists, from dictionaries. But it needs to be imported. It doesn't need to be installed. It's part of the Python standard library, but it needs to be imported for sure. Gang, this is a video on learning Python, and it's a video in a series on learning Python. So if you find yourself stressed or spinning your wheels or a little lost, go back to the beginning of the series and play catch up. We'll still be here by the time you're ready to dive into a study of random selections. Go ahead and open a CodeSpace from your repository where you're learning about Python. I already have one open here. Take a moment, get your screen cleared up, get rid of any windows that you don't actually need, any tabs that would auto-open. Create a new file. Let's call that file something straightforward enough like learning import random. So learning-import-random.py. Go ahead and throw the basics in there. That's the shebang, the doc string, the def main doc string, and if name equals main. All right, gang. If we need to use the random library, that's going to go up at the top, above def main. Imports always go at the top. And I have here standard libraries only because best practice says standard libraries should be imported above third-party libraries, but it's just an organizational point. Down in main, we can now use any of the code that's contained in the random library. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's make some things that we could make random selections from. Let's do a characters, and our characters, let's do a Frodo, and let's do a Samwise, and let's do a Legolas, and let's do a Boromir. And let's do I always liked Strider better than Aragorn. And Gandalf, although I'm going to struggle with the next one. Maybe not. I'll take a shot in the dark. We're going to do character info. And character info is going to be a dictionary where we map. I'm going to cheat a little bit. Just grab those. We're going to map each character now to their race. So Frodo would be a hobbit. And Samwise would be a hobbit. Legolas, I think, is a wood elf. I'm not mistaken. Boromir, I think human. Strider is one of the old races, right? Like super old. Borner is part old. So I'm going to put human, though. I forget exactly what it's called. Gandalf, I think Maya. Again, one of the super old races from Middle Earth. Let me know down in the comments how I did with mapping Middle Earth characters to their races. I know somebody knows better than I do. Let's go ahead, though, and make some random selections from there. So I'm going to say random character, random car, could be equal to random dot. Notice that Visual Studio says, hey, your choices here, random, choice, get state, pick one of these. These are the names contained in random itself. Choice wants something like a list passed to it, a sequence. So in this case, we want to run choice, but we want to pass to it characters. And if we do that, make a random selection from a list. If we do that, we could then print random character, and we should get a random character there. Likewise, well, I'll tell you what, before we do anything more, let's go ahead and run that and see if we made any. Yep, we got a Frodo, Legolas, Samwise, Strider, Gandalf. Fantastic. That seems to be working. The next one, I'll tell you what we'll do. I'm going to write it out, and it might not be, you might not have 100% comprehension at first. But I promise, stick with me. I'll run it in the terminal, and a light bulb will come on if it didn't already. You'll say, oh, Professor Feeser, I absolutely understand it now. So let's make a random selection from a dictionary. And gang, there's more than one way to do this. I'm showing you a way. And if you come up with a different way, again, down in the comments, share with the rest of us the way you would make a random selection from a dictionary. I'm going to say random random name, comma, random, and it's not really random at that point. I'm going to say Middle Earth, ME race. So random name, and then the Middle Earth fantasy race that's associated with that particular character. I'm not going to say that's random because we're not going to choose Frodo and Wood Elf. We're choosing Frodo and whatever its matched is. Samwise is a Hobbit, Legolas, Wood Elf, so on and so forth. We can set both of that equal to, again, random.choice. But we can't just pass character info to it. Character info is a dictionary. So if I say character info, that won't work. What I can do is character info dot items. And what that's going to do is convert what you're seeing here to something like this. I'll show it down in the terminal in a minute. It'll make more sense then. But you're going to see, instead of Frodo : Hobbit, you'll see Frodo, comma, Hobbit. And then beside it, in another set of parentheses, you'll see Samwise, comma, Hobbit. Of course, the quotes are around all this, gang. It doesn't break the rules of Python. But the formatting changes. Now, here's the problem with that. Although, and the reason we like that is Frodo can be assigned random name and Hobbit can be assigned the Middle Earth race. The problem is that's not yet consumable to random choice. We said random choice likes a list. It really wants square brackets around the whole thing. And that's easy enough to do. We just pop list around it. Again, if you're not digesting all of that right now, it's okay. I'm going to show it down in the terminal. It will make sense in but a moment. We're going to print an F string just to show that this works. We're going to say looks like squiggly brackets random underscore name was selected and is a, and we'll put ME underscore race, Middle Earth race. All right, so that's just a F string where regardless of how this runs, random name is going to be replaced by whatever was chosen above, and ME race will be replaced by what was chosen above. Let's try running this. There might be a bug there, but that's a learning opportunity. Legolas looks like Strider was selected and is human. Legolas looks like Samwise was selected and is Hobbit. Gandalf and is Mia? However that is ultimately pronounced. I think that is what Gandalf is actually considered. Gang, if it wasn't entirely clear how we made a random selection from the dictionary, let's hop into the Python terminal. And what we could do is create that same dictionary. I'm going to import random as well. We don't need to def main down here. This isn't a best practice exercise. We're just trying to learn. And we're going to take this piece by piece. If we do a character info dot items, you're going to see that, okay, what we got back was this thing called dictionary items. It's list-like, but it's not a list. It's a dictionary items. And here's how the dictionary was transformed. We no longer have Frodo colon Hobbit, or we have Frodo comma Hobbit. And that's in a thing called a tuple. That's what those parentheses are. And ultimately, that's why we can pass a Frodo and a Hobbit to say a random name and an ME race. Let's take it a step further, because that's not ultimately what we did. We passed that then to list, where we saw, okay, that drops the dictionary items. We now just have a real list. Finally, then, we're making a random choice where we can see each time a tuple is being selected. And that's why you could have two variables in the front. Python understands that, oh, okay, we'll assign the 0th position to the first variable, and we'll assign the second or the first position to the second variable. All right, fantastic, fantastic. We're making random selections using the random library. There's one other thing that's maybe worth passing along. This is kind of interesting. Entropy for the random library is automatically defined by the timestamp, the current timestamp. So you can just use it and you will get a sense of randomness every time your program runs, because the timestamp's always changing. Right? Each time I hit play, a different timestamp is set as entropy, so I get different results. If you wanted to set your own, they call it the seed, the entropy seed, you can do that with random.seed. And whatever you want to pass as entropy is fine. We could pass 42. We're now statically setting entropy. So the result is every time we run the program, we're going to see the same results. Gandalf, Frodo, Hobbit. It'll be the same the next time. Gandalf, Frodo, Hobbit. It'll be the same the next time. Gandalf, Frodo, Hobbit. It'll be the same every time, because no longer is entropy modified each time the program runs. Similarly, if I put, say, a different set of numbers here and tried running it, we probably won't get Gandalf, Frodo, Hobbit. We get Boromir, Strider, Human, but again, every subsequent run will be a Boromir, Strider, Human. I'm going to comment that out because it's not helpful other than knowing about it. Set your own entropy. We like this. Let's go ahead and commit it, gang. Over on the left, go ahead and add that file. Here I have something called my file. It wants to be added. If you're in a situation like that, you don't have to. You can click it. You can discard changes. You could remove it. Like if you go, I don't know what a my file is. I don't want that. It looks like it's an empty file. I'll just delete permanently. And now it's not asking because they're not changes that exist or need to be committed to the repo. All right, we'll give a commit message here, import and random. We'll hit commit. We'll sync our changes, okay. All that's left to do is hop back to our repository, make sure we have a learning import random that just showed up. All right, we're good to go. That was great, gang. We learned about import and the random library. Additionally, how to make random choices from a list and a dictionary, both the key and the value. That's going to be super helpful moving forward. Gang, if you learned something, go ahead and give a like, hit subscribe so I can see you on the next episode of Code with Feeser.